Hello everyone, I'm Ileandra Young and this is part 11 of my editing diary for Walking the Razor's Edge, second novel in the Sars Legacy trilogy. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, somebody write me some theme music or a jingle or something, because it's a bit crap when I do that. So, today is the 22nd? Yes, 22nd of July. There's been a bit of a gap. My last entry to this diary was the 3rd, but I'm pleased to say that stuff has been happening. I've not kind of been sitting on my thumbs and not doing anything. Stuff has been going on, so it's good. It's mainly been it's been completely a bunch of work on the secondary timeline for Walking the Razor's Edge, and I've also been looking into cover options for Dead or Alive. Now, I know that this diary is supposed to be about Walking the Razor's Edge, but I have been using it to give you little updates about other things I've been doing. And I don't think it hurts to do that, so I'm going to start with talking about Dead or Alive, and then I'll shifty onto Walking the Razor's Edge. So, Dead or Alive, all barring the last 500 words, maybe 700 words of the first section. I've had feedback and critique on the entirety of the first section from the Phoenix Writers Group. Thanks guys, you're awesome! Which is really, really helpful. So all I need to do now is go through that, get it clean enough to be able to send out in August to my newsletter subscribers. The other thing I'm doing is working on the cover art. You may have heard me talk about this before, but it's becoming very plain, very quickly, that if I really do intend to release this story in the manner I've talked about in segments, I don't know if you remember, but it's 3 characters and their stories are completely interlinked, so it's one central story with a thread for each character running through. So it'll be released in parts. If I do intend to do that still, which I do, I'm going to need lots of covers. Lots and lots of covers. Obviously, some of them can be the same, like the covers for Diavian stuff can match up, the covers for Kailah stuff can match up, as can the covers for Michael, but I need to spread them out a bit, you know? They can't all be exactly the same cover because that would be boring as shit. And I can't afford to commission every single one, unfortunately. So I've been looking into designing my own using a combination of Photoshop, which I'm not very good with, and an online cover designer thing called Canva. If you've not heard of it, go and have a look. It's actually pretty cool, and you can make some quite cool stuff. I haven't finished going through all the options available in Canva. I've mainly been focused on book covers, but there's some good stuff coming out of that, and I'm having fun. It's time consuming, but it's well worth it if it's going to save me some pennies, because that's pennies I can put into editing. So that's a good thing. And that's why we are Dead or Alive. I have something in the region of 5, maybe 6 covers that I've messed with so far, a combination of Photoshop and Canva. What I'm going to do at the end of this video is just pop them in so they'll flash up on screen. What I'd be really grateful for is if you guys would be kind enough to give me some feedback on what works for you, what doesn't, what cover you might be tempted to pick up, not knowing what was inside, because no matter what people say, everybody judges books by their covers. It's just how it works. So I'd be pleased to know which ones you'd pick up, which ones you wouldn't, and why, if at all possible. That would be fab. Thanks. As for why I'm actually here, well, Walking the Razor's Edge, secondary timeline. It's going very well. You know that I've made quite a few changes to the original timeline from the first draft. Well, I still have those first 2 chapters which take place in Egypt. One in about 36 BC, the other one in, no, not 36, 34-ish, one in 36 BC. Then I have another section in 410 AD, Anglo-Saxon Britain. Probably not enough blood and guts in that one. I might need to murder somebody else in it just to make it match up the rest of what Sal's been up to. And the next section is Jerusalem in 1187. That's taking place just after the end of the Third Crusade, which was actually quite interesting to write. It was difficult, But I think I've got the flavour of the place. I think you'll believe that Sari's there with his children. So, well, my beta readers will be able to tell me about that, but at the moment I'm reasonably happy with that. And then the next section, which is what I'm working on at the moment, is the big reveal section in the same style as Silk Over Razor Blades. So it's 4 consecutive chapters, which are in the secondary timeline, and this part is 1815, Belgium. For those of you who know your history, that's the Battle of Waterloo. The battle specifically took place on the 18th of June. So the first chapter of that segment is covering the battle, and that's the 18th of June. The chapters which follow are in the weeks immediately after, when Sar is recovering. That's the most I can tell you without being spoilery. So I've done the second one. I'm now on the third, actually. I'm doing quite well. I was supposed to get those first 2 chapters done last week, but stuff gets in the way, including LARP. So I didn't manage to finish those. But now I'm on to the third of the 4. Hopefully I'll be able to get them done by the end of the week, which puts me in a really good position to start my Kindle read, which is just going through the document, the entire document, on my Kindle, and picking out specific niggly little problems which need to be fixed before I can send it off to beta readers. So I'm happy. Yes, I'm behind my original schedule, but it doesn't matter. It's actually going well enough, and I'm pleased enough with the changes that I've made to be content that I've spent good time working on this novel. The next stage will be getting back in contact with Dave Johnson, my cover designer for the first one, for Silk Over Razor Blades. He's going to be working with me for the whole trilogy. So he's had his brief for Walking the Razor's Edge. I just need to kind of touch base with him and see how he's getting on, see if he needs any more information. The Easter egg, wobbly camera! The Easter egg in the cover for Silk Over Razor Blades is really popular with people when they see it. But what I'm discovering is it's so subtle that people don't always see it, and I'm having to point it out. If you've been following the blog, you may have seen that I picked up a review from Dane from Social Bookshelves. If you haven't, I'll stick a link in the show notes. I'm slipping into Dupod there. I'll stick the link in the notes at the end of the video, so you can have a look. But what I took away from that review was that he didn't like the cover. Now, it happens. Not everybody's going to like everything I do, and that's something I think I'm prepared to deal with. But what's interesting is he didn't see the Easter egg until I pointed it out, and I'm curious as to whether or not that would have changed his opinion on the cover. I don't know, but it's something to consider. So something I've added to the brief for Dave this time is an Easter egg is good if we can do it. We shouldn't force it if we can't do it, but if we can, it needs to be slightly less subtle. Still subtle because it's an Easter egg and people are supposed to search for these things, but not subtle to the point that it has to be, pointed out to people. Now, many of you should have seen the cover for Silk Over Razor Blades. If you haven't, where have you been? But I'm curious to know whether or not you found the Easter egg or not. So have a look at the cover now. I'll flash it up for a couple of seconds. Okay, and now that you've seen that, what is hidden in that cover? I'm curious, actually. I really want to know, because obviously I was part of a design crew. Dave came to me with his selection of designs, and this was one of the top ones, and it ended up being the one I picked because I loved it so much. So I know what the Easter egg is, and I can't look at the cover anymore without seeing it. He's like, cannot unsee. But I'm really curious to know if somebody who isn't as close to the cover as I am can see it, and how long it took you to find it. So please, guys, just drop me a note, like down in the comments, or Facebook, Twitter, whatever, email me. Just let me know. Could you see? Have you found the cover on the very, it's right on the front of Silk Over Razor Blades. Can you see it? How long did it take you to find it? And what do you think? That's kind of what I want to know. I think that's it in terms of things I need to say to you. Nope. That's definitely it. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Pleasure, as always. I will catch you next time, hopefully without such a long gap between videos. And hopefully I'll be able to tell you that I'm done with the deep edits. Fingers crossed, folks, fingers crossed. We'll just have to see how we go. But until then, I'm Leandra Young. Fare thee well.